Welcome to the Orange Hammer Podcast. My name is Corbett Storick. I've been a licensed general contractor for 8+ years, specializing in new construction, renovation, furniture building. I'm the son of an architect and an interior designer, and I've been surrounded in this industry since birth, watching all aspects from concept, design, build, punch list, and of course, all the problems that come up in between. In my time in Durham, North Carolina, I've noticed a significant gap in knowledge between homeowners who need work and the people who do the work. On this podcast, I hope to break down the process of homeownership from the perspective of both the homeowner and the contractor in an effort to help raise the knowledge of homeowners about their homes and the construction/renovation process. I hope you enjoy. If you're enjoying the Orange Hammer Podcast, or if you have a topic that you want covered, or have recently done a project, please contact the Orange Hammer Podcast. The Orange Hammer Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Please like and subscribe, share on whatever platform you're enjoying your podcast on. Also, check out our YouTube channel, The Orange Hammer. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by CRS Contracting LLC for all your construction and handyman needs, new buildings to renovations, furniture building, EV charger install, or even a TV mounted. You can call me, Corbett Storick. It'd be my pleasure to help you. You can find me on Instagram at CRS Contracting. WSDG, the Walter Storick Design Group, specialists in architectural and acoustical consulting. Check out WSDG.com. And Taylor Bragg, for all your artistic needs in all mediums. You can find her on Instagram at brag_about_art. That's brag, BRGG, with 2 G's. She's the fantastic artist behind the Orange Hammer logo, and she did my fantastic table painting of my podcasting table. All right, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Today, I am pleasure to have my friend Lauren Stapleton here on the podcast. She's a North Carolina native, big animal lover. Let's see what else. An educator, and she's holding up this triangle symbol, and I don't know what that means.
Homeowner.
And homeowner. Well, yeah, obviously, that's
okay.
why you're here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, thank you for coming to the podcast. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me today.
It's cold today. You were bundled even in the house, I see,
am.
but that's understandable. I keep it a little chillier, but it's like 12 degrees outside.
It was very cold this morning. I, again, being a native North Carolinian of the Piedmont region, too, do not do well in this kind of cold weather.
Yeah, well, this is abnormal.
Yeah, this is like freakishly cold.
Yeah.
Bless everybody who is not doing well in it right now, but it's cold.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, I had my hot water stop working 4 days ago.
Oh, yeah.
I had cold water coming out all of the taps, but you'd switch it to hot and just stopped on a dime. And my plumber on the phone was like, there is no other explanation other than the intake to the hot water is frozen.
It's just frozen.
Because there was no like burst pipe and the
Gotcha.
hot water was working. Like
Gotcha.
it was green, it was on. Like
Yeah.
I checked the circuit breaker. And so I was like, okay. So for like 2.5 days, I just waited for it to thaw out, which it did, and everything was fine. But like, I was like, well, we can't run the dishwasher. That's going to pull hot water.
No,
and we got to wash laundry on cold.
Yep.
And I'm not going to take a shower in
Nope.
20-degree water.
Absolutely not.
So, yeah. And then a tenant of mine called and said no heat.
Ooh,
So on Christmas.
Oh, no. Okay.
So send out Mainer, shout out Mainer Heating and Air. And they were like, okay, here's the deal. The outtake, like, there's like a drip exhaust for the gas-powered furnace.
Right.
Was frozen solid.
Yeah.
And when it's blocked, the system stops.
Yeah.
Out of like safety.
Sure.
So they were like, we've got to cut it, come back and reinstall it later. But in order to get it working, we've got to cut it. And I was like, okay, do what you got to do. It's Christmas. They need heat. And he told me on the phone, he was like, we're getting this call like all the time. And he was like, we're getting it enough that building code might change. That they're going to now insulate those pipes.
Okay.
And like wrap them with, a pool noodle type of looking thing, essentially, to keep them from freezing.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely speaks to those larger issues of, climate change and realizing that, it's going to get hotter down here, but it's also going to get colder in ways that I don't think we can really fully
I mean, things are
fathom.
just going to change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, so like, I guess I never really got into the guts of homes and definitely not building codes when I was living up north. But I
Sure.
guess I just assume that all the pipes are wrapped in the north because we get these cold temperatures regularly
Right.
and much colder.
Right.
So I guess down here it's so rare that it gets that cold for that long. So they just haven't done it yet. So they're just going to adapt colder climate building codes that already exist, one would assume, but also I have no idea.
One would hope those best practices would make their way down here, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So you're from North Carolina.
Yes, born and raised.
And you are a teacher.
I am a teacher. Yes.
I don't have children myself, but for people who have children, thank you for being an educator.
Well, thank you very much.
I think we all know that's a underpaid, thankless job. It's kind of like nursing, unfortunately.
Yes.
Even though it's higher on the importance level. But we don't have to get into that.
We shan't.
We just agree, and we'll move on.
Excellent. Thank you.
So I guess just like tiny little bit, how did you know you wanted to be a teacher? Did you do that like right out of high school into college to become an educator?
No, I kind of fell into teaching. I will be honest. It was always something I thought about, played around with, but I actually thought I wanted to be a lawyer and do like art law in particular, because my background is in art history and philosophy and religion. And those
are all things you did in college?
Yes.
Okay.
At the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Let's go Seahawks. And thought that's what I wanted to do. And I just want to give a little context here that this was in 2009 as the housing bubble and the Great Recession was hitting. So it was also very much like, oh my God, what do I do with myself now? So I went and I actually worked at a law office for a little bit as I was like applying to go to law school and realized I really didn't want to do it.
Gotcha. So it took very little time for you to be like, this is what I wanted to do, tried it, don't like it, and then moving on from that immediately.
Yeah, and I just also, it felt like everybody I knew was going back into getting their master's degree, which I did, but or going to law school. So I was also very much, kind of postponing, I think, the inevitability of a terrible economic system at that point or situation. But then kind of my aunt basically, long story short, signed me up to start getting this information from the University of Southern California's online master's program, in Master's of Arts in Teaching. And first I was just getting like cranked called and was like, who are you? Why are you keep calling me?
Right.
And
How'd you get my phone number?
Yeah. I was like, how? And they're like, oh, well, and then I mentioned something and my aunt was like, oh yeah, I put your information down just to kind of see, because she used to work for UNC and was kind of seeing how like this was back in 2010 or so. So like online learning was still really new at that point. And so I kind of just fell into a Master's of Arts in Teaching from the University of Southern California. It was a fantastic experience and
all online.
Well, cool. I did my student teaching in person around here though.
Okay. So they made it work for where going to California required.
No, you could if you wanted to, but I had people in my class from all over the world. Like there was people getting up in like South Korea to join classes and Jordan. It was
that's a unique experience.
It was a surprisingly global experience. And I'm going to toot my own horn here too. It's really helped.
Toot away. That's what this is for. It's your episode.
Really helped when the pandemic hit, because I had that experience of being an online student already. So I knew kind of going in, of course I had to tweak it for high school students, but...
Oh, you mean having to now on the flip side of the coin be the teacher.
Correct.
When is it high school or middle school?
High school.
High school became online and you were now teaching like over Zoom. You're saying how much that experience of being a student in the online for your master's was a huge plus.
Huge.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's we're ending 2022, so I am coming up on... I'm in my 9th year of teaching. So I've completed 8. I'm in my 9th year of teaching. And I did about 2 years of subbing before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been an educator for 11
Over
years.
over a decade now, which
Wow.
is kind of mind blowing.
It's a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So we mentioned that teachers are underpaid.
Yes.
And we don't have to this isn't a political podcast. It's a homeownership and housing and type of podcast. So I only bring it up a second time because not every single person on a teacher salary can afford to buy a home. And that
Absolutely.
it was a main, well, it was like 50% that what I just said, and 50% you have a unique home.
Yeah.
That I really wanted you to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want any of your personal information of salary or anything like that. But
my father's middle name is.
My blood type is. Yeah.
The year I graduated.
My PIN number is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's not. Or is
it?
Yeah. I just love that from Spaceballs.
Yes.
Where he needs the code. Anyway. Okay. So I know it's a very big question, but how did you afford? So how? Describe your house a little bit. How many bedrooms,
Sure.
how many bathrooms? What did you buy it for?
Sure. It is okay. Where do we want to start with that?
Where the first thing that comes, I've been to your house a couple of times. It's unique. It has no window that's the same shape.
No.
And a lot of windows.
Yes.
And it feels like there's no insulation. And
that may be accurate.
there's one bathroom with 5 doors.
Yes.
For the whole house.
Yes.
It's
wild, isn't it?
It's a unique. I've never seen anything even remotely close to it. I love the screened-in porch. So many attributes that are amazing, giant open concept, huge vaulted ceilings. But it's a very strange home.
So I actually had a chance to go to that house when I was 12 years old. I bought it from a family friend.
Really?
Yeah. She was a social worker in the same school district that I currently work in. And she had retired. Her husband has an IT job, so he can work remotely. And they were happy here, but they were building a house up in the mountains of North Carolina. So they were slowly, retirement, kind of moving in that direction. And I had been, as any good millennial, living with my parents there for a couple of years, saving money with the intention of buying a house. And let's be frank, too, the areas I was looking at and can afford kind of placed me in some unique parts of North Carolina, just by virtue, again, of where my work was, which is in a rather affluent part of the state, if you will.
Sure.
I'll call it that.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. So buying anything close to work was just out of the
Not
question.
possible.
Yeah. So I ended up in kind of rural North Carolina. I am out there. I'll say I'm out in Chatham County, which is
out in the cut.
I am out in the cut. I'm close to.
When you taught me that phrase, I was like, I'm stealing that forever.
Oh,
yeah, I use that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite to describe just being out in the boonies, out in the country, out in the cut.
I'm out in the cut now.
I love it. Yeah. I had never heard it. Now I can't stop.
I'm so much. Okay. That's wonderful. I didn't know that. But yeah, so the house is, we'll say 3 bedrooms. I'll give it 3 bedrooms.
It's 3 bed. 2 of them are small, but
yeah, but the master's got this, I will defer to your professional judgment in this characterization. Are those half cathedral ceilings, or are those just high vaulted? You know what I'm talking about? In my bedroom and the living room.
I think they would just be considered high ceilings.
Just high
because,
ceilings.
I actually don't know, and I feel like I should, but I feel like cathedral ceilings, they go to a point.
Gotcha.
To look like that cathedral kind of look, whereas just having a high ceiling, your roof is just a slanted roof, and it's just a high ceiling. They just made it a high ceiling.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think you just call it a high ceiling.
I have
or
high
maybe
ceilings.
a vaulted ceiling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should know the difference. The fact that I don't is embarrassing, but we're just going to keep it 100% on this podcast. I don't know the technical term, but
I'm sitting here kicking myself knowing I used to study all of that like cathedral architecture in college too. And I'm like, I know. And I'm sitting going like, let's go. Let's go.
You should know what a cathedral ceiling is.
That's why I was like, it's not obviously cathedral height, but in my mind it is.
I think cathedral refers to the styling.
It does.
And
not necessarily the height itself.
Yeah. I've also been in probably the least cathedrals of like most humans because that's not my jam. So like I don't even know what the ceilings look like. I can't, like, I'm having trouble visualizing like I just think of like the Sistine Chapel painting, but I don't know what the ceiling looks like. I just know that paintings because it's iconic. I can't, that's where my mind's going right now. But I think you just have vaulted ceiling. But you have two shed roof lines.
Yes.
And then in the living room they one's like 2 feet higher than the other because then that wall has that row of windows.
Yes.
So that's awesome for all of that natural light.
There's that really great triangle window right there too as you're like facing the house, kind of that where it all meets too.
Yeah.
So there's that nice one there.
Yeah. I remember when you gave me the tour of the house, I was just like, every door I expected something different and got not what I expected. And I was like, what is this is another tiny bedroom.
Yes.
Oh, what is this? This is another tiny bedroom. And then like you go, and then the bathroom is just hysterical.
Do you want to talk about the bathroom?
Yeah. How could we not talk about the bathroom? I don't even know. Okay. So you walk down a hallway and you open a door to what starts as a relatively normal bathroom of like, there is a toilet and a vanity.
Yes.
And we're good so far.
Yes.
But then instead of the conversation ending, there is a doorway that you took the door out of and put in a curtain.
I did, but we put the door back now.
Okay. But either way, it's confusing. So there's a doorway. Like, you walk in one door, and then there's vanity and toilet, and then you keep going, there's just, like, another door that goes to the shower room.
Correct.
But then we don't stop there.
No.
But wait, there's more. And then on the other side of the shower, there's another door that goes to a vanity again.
And another toilet.
And another toilet.
And then
on the other side of that, you open a door, and it goes to the master bathroom.
Yes.
So it's like 2 half baths that share one shower.
Correct.
But the layout is...
Because then don't forget, too, between the bathroom and my bedroom is also my closet. So I literally have to go through my closet every time I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, you walk through your walk-in closet.
My little teeny tiny walk-in closet.
Walk-in is only by the strictest of fact that you have to walk in it to get to the toilet, but it's really just like 4 shelves.
That is accurate.
Yeah. So it's okay. So it's like it's very confusing because like when you walk into the master, you can then like walk in a circle through a closet, through a vanity, through a shower, through another vanity, and be back at the hallway.
Correct.
Yeah.
You
it's
basically
very
can make
strange.
a loop.
You can make loops.
Oh, yeah.
If you open all the doors, it would be like a cat chase or dog chasing a cat's like dream. Just keep going like a full circle.
We just make dreams happen there at my
It's
house.
where dreams come true. Yeah. It's definitely, I've never seen anything like it.
It's cool. And, we had, I don't know if you want to move on to different rooms now, but I have actually messed with the kitchen a little more since I think last time you were over there.
Yeah, I mean, I want to eventually dive into everything you've done, but the bathroom still is so perplexing because it's like conventional wisdom. You could block off a doorway and make a master that has a nice shower. The walk-in part is confusing.
Yeah.
But it would be a good master thing, and then you'd have a half bath, but then nobody could go to the shower without walking through your entire master bedroom situation. So it's not really plausible. So it's like short of adding another bathroom.
And I know you and I have talked about that because I am slightly frustrated with the tub situation. I would, again, if it's my house and I would love to have a tub that I can actually like sit in and soak into.
Yeah, well, you're also an above average height person.
I am
like
I
me.
am
So like
taller, yes.
yeah,
So,
tubs are not made for us.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
God, no.
unfortunate that North Carolina building code requires one tub per house.
Okay.
Because if I didn't have to live by that, I would just have a house with 2 awesome showers, and I would not put in a tub because I'm not gonna use. I don't use a tub. It's just not in my.
I don't think I knew that. You have to have a tub.
Yeah, I mean, unless the code changed from the last new construction I did, I believe you have to have one tub. You could have like 25 showers, and as long as there's one tub, you can have or 25 baths. You could have 25 bathrooms. You can have 24 showers. You just need one tub.
Huh.
Yeah. Now, obviously, like you buy a house and you own a house for 10 years and you want to rip out the tub and put in a shower, like I don't know who's going to stop you, but there might be an issue when you go to sell the house.
Gotcha.
And an inspector might be like, well, where's the tub? I don't know. You might be like grandfathered in. That's something I might have to ask my realtor about.
That would be, I wonder why.
Yeah.
I'm always one of those people when I hear like a policy or a law, I'm always like, what happened to make that official? Like I wonder if there's a story behind that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know.
Me being a history teacher. That's all that is.
I mean, it's still an interesting question. Like, I don't know how old that statute is. And obviously, like, no code is written because it's fun. Like, all things are written because, like, something happened. Like, they were like, oh, how do we fix that? We make this code.
Yep.
Like, every do not sign is because somebody did it.
Yep,
and they're like, let's
exactly.
put up a sign. Yeah, so like,
because people really read signs.
Liability. It's all anybody cares
That's
about.
all I get that.
Yeah. So I wonder what liability or possibly insurance issue was raised.
That sounds
in
like
the tub realm.
Yep.
Maybe somebody slipped in a shower and they were like, we need to make sure there's a tub for handicap reasons. I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
That's
Having just gone through foot surgery and still on a walker right now, tub would have been harder. So my shower was easier, but everything is circumstantial. But it is interesting you bring that up.
So but I would love a soaking tub anyway, so.
Yeah, you'd probably just need like a big garden tub, like a big wider one so that you could like have your knees bent a little bit. I don't know if they make, I'm sure you could custom order anything, but like budget-wise.
I've had my eyes on a couple of nice ones.
Oh,
I'm
like, some super long or super wide tubs?
So longer, but then I realized they were all too big for the bathroom.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate to be this guy, but like you're in full gut mode to make that work.
No, I know.
Like there's no, unfortunately, and realistically, that what makes it even harder is you can't live without a bathroom. So you need to build a new bathroom somewhere.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
So that you have a bathroom. And then you rip out the other one and make it the dream bath. Like, I hate to be that guy, but like,
no, that's you
the
hitting the reality of that.
Or you gotta like crash with your brother or get a hotel or whatever, something. Yeah. But it's just like,
well, that's not
situation.
Anywhere in the near future at the moment, but that's good to put on that 10, 15-year plan there of, okay.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you did some stuff to the kitchen Even before I met you, you had done a couple. Well, when did you buy the house? Let's back up just a little bit. You said you got it from a family friend.
I got it from a family friend.
Can I ask how much you spent on it?
I bought it for $171,000.
Okay. And to back up even a little bit, how did you make that work on teacher salary?
Sure. No, fantastic question. So I had been, I would say, actively, researching house hunting for about 2 years prior. And again, this was September 2020 is when I bought the house. So in the middle of the pandemic.
Sorry, you said 2020?
2020.
Okay,
in the pandemic, I bought the house.
Okay.
But I had been actively looking for the previous 2 years. I was actually researching, probably more active in 2019. I was starting to just be like, I'm ready to get on with my life. And I was seeing someone at the time. That kind of fell apart. And then I ended up kind of back with my parents again, saving money just even more money to put down a down payment. And my brother and she was new sister-in-law at the time, but my sister-in-law were looking to buy a house here in Durham, and they had, I guess as they were kind of going through their own process, I had connected with the family friend at that time. I was trying to put it together, and my sister-in-law recommended going through the U.S. Department of Agriculture for my mortgage because I'm so out in the cut.
Yeah.
I literally qualified for one of those federal programs.
You qualified solely on location? I thought you
Correct.
needed more land.
No, it was literally location.
Okay, I thought you needed like over 10 acres.
No. I think for like some of their programs, yes. I think like farm specific one, but this was just residential stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. Purely on the fact that you're out in the cut.
I am out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because you really are. Like it's quite a drive.
But the growth though is making it seem. Well, it's still out there. I'm like, in the next 5-10 years,
it won't be out there.
It's not going to be out there anymore.
Or they'll just out there will be developed.
Yes,
very quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It's both good and bad. There's pluses and minuses to everything, and that's But sorry, I don't want to get sidetracked because this is gold.
Yeah. So it was literally my sister.
So that program. Dive in a little bit about that program because I know nothing about those programs. Did they do like a lower down payment than normal? Is there like is it grant money that comes in?
There was no grant money.
Okay.
I think there were grants. I don't know if I qualified for them though because I was making too much for it.
Okay. For the grants.
Still on a teacher salary, still making too much for it. But I literally think, and let me just pause here and do some math in my head here quickly. I think between the like home inspections and kind of the stuff that goes into pre-buying the house and then all of the taxes, etc., I only walked out of there paying about $6,000. Like on
didn't
cash.
Even put down
I didn't put down a down payment at all.
Wow. Okay, so that's how you did this.
That's
in the shortest explanation.
Exactly.
Like
I had
program.
stuff saved up. I was ready to cash in some, stuff that my grandparents and family members had given me, but I didn't have to because that USDA loan or a mortgage program was just that phenomenal. And when I was working with my mortgage broker and he was like looking at this and that, I was like, well, I think I qualify for this USDA mortgage. And when he got back to me, he sounded so excited. Like it was I'm like, okay, when someone like that sounds that excited about a program, you've hit gold.
Yeah.
But it also means I'm also out in the middle of nowhere though.
Well, true.
But that's what I wanted though.
Well, yeah. And it's a great spot. I mean, it's so peaceful out there. Like
it is.
You're like 10 minutes from that kayak launch that we used to meet at.
Mm-hmm.
So did the house even get listed because the family friend?
No.
That's clutch.
It really was.
That's how I bought land.
See?
Like 30 minutes from here. It was like my friend was the neighbor of these people, and he got offered the land and immediately called me and was like, you want this land? Because it's not listed, and they're chopping it and selling it. And I was like, give it to me.
I mean, at that point, I had been, again, working with a realtor at that point, and she was phenomenal.
But in 2020... everything was flying.
It was
like
flying.
Hotcakes. Was that the case out in the cut? Was it the same? Because if you were looking downtown Durham, 10 minutes from me, things were going the same day. Sight unseen, for $10,000 to $60,000 above asking.
I would not have been
nuts.
Surprised.
I would get sent stuff, and my realtor would be like, I tried to make an appointment for tomorrow at 11, and it's already gone.
Yep.
They accepted an offer $45,000 above asking. And I was like, well, we were going to lowball them, so let's just move on.
Exactly.
I've never seen anything like it.
It was absolutely cutthroat. So I had honestly gotten desperate I don't say desperate, but was just kind of
because it was the same even out in the
everywhere.
Country.
Well, that was probably the first time I had looked, I would say, that far out in the country. I had probably been more suburbs, areas surrounding the triangle. But even then, the Hillsborough area in particular, lots of teachers, Orange County.
Hillsborough,
I do too. But
have you
even
been to,
that,
have you been to Steve's Market in Hillsborough?
no.
Oh my God. What? It's like a delicatessen, like butcher shop, very, very tiny.
Where is it?
It's there's only one road in Hillsborough. It's on like the main drag in Hillsborough.
Gotcha.
Like, as the
Okay.
hill goes up a little bit before you get to Old 70.
Ah.
Yeah. But
okay.
it's like a butcher shop, but they make 7 sandwiches that can't be modified or added in any way. You can just be like, let me get the
I think
whatever.
I know exactly where you're talking.
And it's like the best sandwiches ever.
My aunt used to live past there, and she raved about them. Yes.
Well, she's a smart lady.
She is a smart lady. She's a very smart lady.
Yeah. I'm shocked that you haven't been there.
I think there was like a Euro place I actually hit up like right down the road from it more.
A Euro place.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love a good Euro?
See? Okay.
Yeah.
See? Uh-oh. I think we're just hungry now.
Maybe. It's possible.
It's possible.
I don't know. I mean, I just love food.
Well, that's
yeah.
I think that's one of the bonds that
That's true. Kayaking, food. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. But anyway, the podcast can veer. That's the beautiful thing about it. I'm not editing any of this out.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Okay.
Yeah. No, we're keeping it all in. So the fact that, but I can bring it back. See, ready? The fact that it wasn't listed, that's huge. Realistically, you saved, if we're going to be conservative, you probably saved $20,000, possibly $60,000, and even more possibly losing it. Yeah. Due to, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's massive.
Yeah.
So there's 2 factors. There's the program that you found. Yes. Which is state or federal?
Federal.
Not that it matters.
It was federal.
It's federal. Okay, so that means it's available everywhere. That's
everywhere.
Great. Good. So people should know about that. And what's it called again for listeners?
It was it's
an agriculture.
U.S. Department of Agriculture. If you go to their mortgage financing site, basically you just kind of enter your address and it tells you if you qualify or not, and boom,
go from there.
I go from there. Yeah,
Gotcha.
if you qualify and it's something you are really interested in, I would highly recommend.
So it's qualification on location and then obviously your financial situation.
Correct.
Those are the 2 factors.
Well, and it kind of came out of the blue, to be honest, because at that point I had been looking more at first-time homeowner programs, and then they also have first-time homeowner educator programs too. So it was, helping more grant-based with down payments. If it was helping with like inspections or anything that you needed kind of in the buying process.
So you explored like 3 or 4 different avenues, and this was still the way to go.
Oh yeah, no, I love research, so I totally
right, history major,
a little bit, yeah.
Research. Well, there's nothing wrong with research.
Oh no, the more you research, the luckier you get. The more in my life I realized, the more you go in with that information, you're just better equipped to make smart decisions.
I mean, I don't think anybody could argue that logic. That's very sound advice.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, and sometimes it is just dumb luck too.
That was going to say that was my other factor is like there's nobody that could foresee that person being a friend of you through the same school district, being like, oh, you're kind of looking for a house and I kind of am about to get rid of it. And like, you want to just take it off my hands she lost money for being like, she might have gotten what she needed.
Well, she had lived in that house for 20, 30 years. So
all I'm saying is had she listed it, she would have made more than whatever you bought it for, the 171 or something like that.
Possibly. I think I saw it was around like 165 or something. But yeah, so it was, I am the first one to admit it was incredible how the stars aligned for this to even happen. So I'm very, very protective of my home. I'm very, I try to put a lot of TLC into it because it became my haven. It became my safe place. So for all of it to line up, I'm just eternally grateful.
Yeah, and it's a nice spot.
It is.
It's a nice spot. And so is your I forget, younger sister?
Younger sister.
She's still crashing with you?
She currently is, but she is actually moving out here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay,
to move in with her fiancé.
Oh, fiancé.
Oh, fiancé.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
Oh,
so
very cool.
Yeah.
Very
So it'll just be me and the animals there hanging out.
There's a lot of animals.
There's a lot of animals.
So when you got the house,
Yeah.
you said something like $6,000 inspections. Okay. So what immediately, if anything, do you start doing? Like, do you need to fix the roof, replace the HVAC, fix a broken window? Like, is there anything right out of the gate?
No, the bones were super solid.
Do you know when the house was built?
Yes, 80s.
Okay. And it was on original kind of like
Farmland.
HVAC and original
Yes.
hot water heater.
HVAC has been updated since they have lived there. Hot water heater, I'd have to go back and double check.
So I was like, anything from the 80s would be so about to break.
Oh yeah. At the moment, no, the roof looks good, but probably does need to look at getting replaced within the next, 5-6 years or whatever. I'll probably end up looking at metal at that point.
I was going to recommend doing a metal, kind of like my carport.
Exactly.
Because you have shingle currently.
Correct.
Yeah. And shingle, for listeners, like shingles are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I would go one step above the regular 3-tab and get the architectural shingle, which is exactly the same thing. It's just like a slightly better look.
Okay.
But if you have the ability, the metal roofing, you can order it at any length.
Yeah.
So you can go my carport's like 28 feet long and there's no seam.
Right.
No,
there isn't.
The seam, obviously they're 2-foot wide sections, but from the 20 whatever foot span, I mean, a semi truck dropped it off and it was on a custom pallet so the forklift could lift it and put it on my grass. Like,
I don't think I ever noticed that.
Because it's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's like, it didn't cost anything extra. It's the same amount of metal.
Okay.
Instead of buying a bunch of 10-foot pre-cut stuff at Home Depot, I went to the supplier and was like, this is how long the thing is. And they were like, okay, we'll give that plus 6 inches in case. And of course I needed that. And like they trimmed for the gutter and whatever. So like, but the real reason about the metal is color options.
Yeah.
And shingles last 25, metal lasts 50 years.
Yeah.
And that's like 50 from the manufacturer, not like we think 50.
Yeah.
Like most metal companies will give like in writing 40 years.
Wow. Okay.
On paper.
Okay.
And you're getting more. I mean, you drive around these old barns that have 100-year-old tin metal roofs. It's like the same concept and it might rust a little.
That's okay.
But the color stuff won't rust because it's aluminum now.
Oh.
So it's not tin, it's aluminum.
Okay.
I don't think it can rust.
I will defer to your judgment on that.
Well, like steel could get a little surface rust and eventually rust through.
But aluminum doesn't rust?
I don't think aluminum rusts. That's why we love aluminum.
We do love aluminum.
Yeah. I think it could get anything can get a little surface rust. I'm talking about like rusting through.
I see.
Yeah. But also don't quote me because I don't know everything about everything. I just know that aluminum is a highly like defensive against corrosion metal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's you don't need to powder coat it like steel. Like my lumber rack for my truck is custom steel and I had to get it powder coated or it would just rust in the rain. And I tried to get an aluminum rack, but I couldn't find or I could find, but my friend built my rack and he only welds steel and welding aluminum is different welding techniques and different welding equipment.
Oh.
And he just only has the steel welder.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And that's also about my height of my knowledge on welding. I don't know that much about welding, but I know that Jeremy, who's been on the podcast twice, can back me up that it's separate equipment to do aluminum versus steel. And he was like, I only do steel. And I was like, cool, for what I need, steel's great. And I got it powder coated and it's perfect. But hypothetically, had it been aluminum, you don't need to do anything. You can just pop it on the truck.
Well, that is good to know. I will keep that in the back of my mind for later.
There you go. Cool. Aluminum. Good stuff. We cover all bases here. Yeah, why not? So you don't really have to do anything move-in. It's move-in ready.
Oh yeah.
Did you do anything because you wanted to?
I did. The kitchen was kind of very 80s, like galley, like where it's just, how do I describe this? The counter and sink are along the wall that basically looks out into the driveway, right? But then you've got the stove that has the built-in exhaust system, so it's kind of like, an island-based stove, but it's like that long galley countertop there. And it used to have cabinets above it too. So my living room and kitchen and dining space are all one big room, right? So it did kind of block off the kitchen space, but it just also was, it just kind of was really hard to like work with. So we ripped all of those top cabinets down, which you have been there and have seen. And then they had that support wall that had the cabinets attached to it, right? Well, we cut a good part of that down till it's about chest level, but didn't go much further than that because we got into like electrical stuff, and I was just like, I'm not touching that. So we cut it down. We capped it this past week with just like a piece of wood that I got out and like sanded and stained and just kind of treated. And then, we painted the giant wall there when you walk in a lovely shade of green. It looks like I live in a forest.
Nice. Well, you do.
Yeah, I do live in a forest.
Yeah.
I know. I was bringing it inside.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because all of that dark wood trimming I have in the house made picking a paint color kind of challenging if I didn't want to paint over the wood.
Yeah, if you don't want to paint the trim.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is definitely a 50-50 because like that trim is stunning, but also like it's a lot of dark wood trim.
It's a lot.
And for color palette wise, you
gotta, but I think I made it work, so I'm very excited. It looks good right now.
Cool. I know that wall, because I remember you telling me about those cabinets because it's like it really is like a shotgun style kitchen.
Yes.
And when you're standing between the two rows of cabinets, you're looking either out the window over the sink or you're looking over the stove to the living room TV.
Correct.
And if those cabinets were there, you'd just be staring at a cabinet. Again, we're tall.
We would have to like duck down every time.
We'd have to like duck down and look under. So you rip those out. I guess storage is not an issue because those added cabinet storage.
And it had a cabinet. It was pantry space.
But you didn't need it, or you made it work, obviously. And then, okay, so I love that you took out the wall because that just opened it more. You made like a little bar height.
Yes.
Drop your keys when you come in space.
Exactly.
So what's on the list for like future dream things to do to the house? Are you?
Good question.
Let me back up. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
First question.
Okay.
Do you think like, and this answer you could say you don't know or that it could change, but do you think like this is the house you're going to stay in?
Oh.
Or do you think this is a stepping stone to another house?
I think it really I'm very happy there right now. I'll just say that. So no immediate plans here. But you just never know where life takes you. So I'm also very open to I don't know, I'm leery about release or selling property. Especially if I was going to go do something, I would probably look more into renting it out, if anything, trying to get that passive income, fingers crossed. But it's a really good right now house. If it turns into just my beginning house, that's okay. But for right now, it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like asking that before what I asked you, because that could lead, the answers to what do you want to do to the house make more sense based on what you want to do with the house.
Yeah.
Like, putting in a $20,000 bathroom to a house you're going to sell in a year doesn't make any sense.
It does not.
That's like custom to your needs.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm asking. So thank you for that answer. But now what's on the list of like things to do to the house that you would, because I guess now you have to think like potential re-renting value as well as what you would want value.
Yep. I'm trying to think. I mean, I would love to maybe redo the kitchen. If it was some combination of taking the I want to call it an island, but the peninsula, right?
Yeah.
Taking that part out. Because there's a door there, right, between the two sets of cabinets, right? So the walkway, right? There's that door to the front porch there.
Yeah.
And there's a small space between the door and the giant picture window right there. I thought about putting getting it all done, but putting the stove over there, putting the exhaust system out that way, so that opens up all of that space there. I know I would lose more cabinet space with that, but I was also like,
but you could also get like one of those kind of cool like freestanding islands that's on wheels, and you could have it, and then when you want to move it, you just roll it out of the way, or you could make that work. I think that's probably a good move. And then also, like, if you buy the appropriate upper stove cabinet, you can undermount a microwave.
Yeah.
And that can be the venting for the stove, and you don't have to vent that out of the house. The microwaves now can just self-vent through like some charcoal filters.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's very common. We put them in all the time. And all the instructions literally come like, do you want to vent through the wall? Here's the bracket. Or do you want to vent through the self-venting charcoal? Here's the charcoal. Like I'm telling you, they come with both written in the instructions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
all microwaves now come with their own mounting bracket. So it's like when you go buy a $300 microwave brand new from like Best Buy or Lowe's or Home Depot, like you're set. It comes with a template. It comes with a bracket. If you've got that, like, I think it's 30-inch, which is the same. Yeah, the stoves are 30-inch. Yeah. So 30-inch stove, 30-inch you need the cabinet above.
Right.
Like the bracket goes to the wall, kind of clips in almost like a hinge. You push it up and you screw it from the inside the cabinet into these threaded holes in the top of the microwave. And then you can just like arrange it to vent through the house wall or just vent through the charcoal thing. And that's what we do, because then it's just like one less hole in the wall.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's really good to know.
That could be that could simplify your project, because like microwaves just need a standard outlet.
Right.
And if you're doing electric stove, you just need a 220 outlet on the floor.
Right.
So you just need a little electrician. And then depending on how much room there is between that door and that picture frame, you need the 30-inch space and then cabinets on either side if there's room.
And I think there is that room there. Okay,
and cabinets come in so many widths, so you can get like two 12-inch cabinets on either side, or like a 12 and a 40, 12 and a 60, 24, whatever.
Exactly. Because I would probably definitely put
as much as you can
cabinets on the wall there too. I'd have to.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And that makes it easier to screw the above microwave cabinet to the cabinets on either side if you have more wall cabinets.
Yeah.
Because like they all get hit to the studs and then screwed to each other, and that just makes everything stronger.
Okay, that just got me really excited about that then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest thing really is, in that particular instance, there's like two big things. So there's the electric.
That was
like you need a 220 for that big 4-prong for the electric stove.
Right.
And then you need an outlet that doesn't exist, a regular outlet, to plug in your microwave. And then the countertop on either side of the stove, you're going to, by code, and you're also just going to want an outlet to plug in like an appliance.
Actually,
so you're going to need an electrician.
I would. And
And then the biggest thing, unfortunately, is going to be the floor once you demo.
Yeah.
That's just because you have gorgeous floor.
I'm kind of scared about what that's going to look like.
There's unfortunately no way to get around how scary the situation is. Like, there will be a giant missing section of floor where those cabinets and wall are.
Yes.
And you're either going to have to rip up a little piece of that floor and go hunting.
Yep.
Or you're going to have to patch it with something else. Or either you patch exactly what's missing.
Yeah.
And try to match the stain. Is you have hardwoods?
I do have hardwood, and I'm just sitting here thinking about this, the ground between the cabinets, again, like where you stand in the kitchen, is actually tile.
So then you don't have to worry about it. So
I could okay.
What you could then do, since you already have 2 floors.
Yeah.
The simplest solution and most easiest probably in terms of color would be to just tile the whole kitchen to the hardwood.
Yeah.
And just put a nice transition.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, which could be like, depending on the tile, could just be flush to flush and caulking, or like that could be very simple. So you could match the tile, or since it's a very small strip, rip that up as well with the demo and just pick a tile you enjoy.
Ooh.
Because that's not a lot of square foot to tile.
It's not.
And it's floor. You don't have to like go crazy with shower, waterproofing and stuff
right.
like that.
Okay.
It's some big like 2 foot by 2 foot tiles, so there's not a lot of grout lines.
Yeah.
Easy to clean.
That
yeah.
would be, ooh, I
yeah.
like that a lot. Oh, I'm so glad I came today and talked to you about this.
Ask a Contractor. We could change the name of the podcast.
I like that.
To Ask a Contractor.
I think you would get a lot of hits on that, actually. Not saying you aren't already.
You know, as people who are listening here in the promo, if you've got something you want me to talk about, write it into the podcast and tell me, and I'll talk about it.
See?
I do this out of passion for a reason. So, yeah.
I can see.
So the kitchen renovation is now more plausible than you think.
More plausible,
cool.
yes.
Anything else big on the list of?
I would love to extend out the. So besides a bathroom too, obviously, I would love a bathroom.
Yeah. So adding a bathroom. So let's talk about that. I don't know if expanding the footprint of the house is interesting to you. So would you just sacrifice one of the bedrooms and make it like a small office next to a new bathroom? Have you given that more thought?
So here's what I was thinking is I would probably, I don't even know how it would work, but I would probably go more into the backyard area there. I know it does kind of slope down there, like where like the fenced in part is, right?
So you do want to blow out a wall.
I would be totally fine doing that. Yeah,
Gotcha.
That's not a problem. And I think that's moving away from the septic system, so it shouldn't interfere with that. I think depending on where we did it.
So you'd blow it out for the master and make a master bath and then close off at the closet and just keep that other bath.
So the other thing to keep in mind too is that's also where my laundry is too.
Your laundry's in the bathroom?
Well, it shares that wall with my closet and like my master like vanity set. Like that backs up to the same wall.
Right. I'm not talking about changing that wall. What I'm saying is like if you closed off the wall, the doorway rather, between the master closet and the vanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So now you keep the closet for the master, blow out the wall to add a master bathroom that's actually like a nice master bathroom. And then all of a sudden that other bathroom that's actually now big because it has 2 toilets and 2 vanities. When you gut that, you'd have a nice big bathroom.
You would.
To arrange properly or even make the master closet bigger, which you probably could do both.
Yeah. I get, honestly.
Once you've added on, if you're talking about blowing out a wall, because I'm trying to think about the cheaper way of doing it, like keeping the footprint.
Sure.
But if you're like, I don't give a crap, I'm blowing out a wall.
At that point, I'd probably be like, let's just go ahead and add something. Now, with that being said, I have had family who've had experience of adding on bathrooms and it just being a complete dumpster fire of an experience too.
And do you have any insight on to why it was such a dumpster fire?
I think the people that did the job, now I could be wrong, but I think the people who did the job did a terrible job with the waterproofing, and it just led to a constant issue with moisture and leaking with the add-on bathroom.
Gotcha.
So I'm also kind of like, oh God, of all the things to add on a bathroom, it's like just because it has like the water element to it.
Just hire my your tile guy. He'll waterproof it. Overkill, and I'll warranty it, and there you go. I'm just, you know, I don't, that's something that should just not happen.
I mean, if you need to.
I don't work for free, but I do good work.
I can vouch for that, sir.
Yeah, I mean, when I did my bathroom,
I love your bathroom. It's beautiful.
I tiled that and I waterproofed that. Like listeners might not know, but I got what's called the Schluter system, which is a brand, and it's like it's like orange foam, like wall and floor thing for the pan. What's called the pan? It's like everything under the tile is the pan, which is like the real waterproofing.
Gotcha.
And so like that is like a special waterproof foam thing And then they give you these special like corner things that have no seam, and you put those in with mud on the back and the front, and then you seam all the edges, right? Whatever. And then you start, and that supposedly, according to Schluter, is like good enough.
Okay.
And then, because I was being educated by old school tiled guys, they were like, you want to buy the pink, disgusting, super maple syrupy thick waterproofer and just go to town.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I was like, well, you can't, overkill's underrated.
Yeah.
So they were like, 2 coats of that, it's bomb proof. So I 2 coats, and they're like, you only got to go waist high. I went to the ceiling.
Sure.
Right to the ceiling.
Sure.
Right. Floor, walls, everything. The curb and the like 6 inches on the outside of the curb of the outside of the shower. And by the time I'm done with the 2 coats, which take a whole day to dry, there's 60% of this tub left.
Okay.
Of the pink crap. And like, you know, you store it in an unheated garage like I have. It'll be trash.
Sure.
I didn't have a job to use it. I can't return it. My tile guy's like, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna buy your like half the. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? F this. I am just gonna use it all.
You use the whole bucket on your
6 coats with a day of dry in between, because it was the pandemic. I had nothing better to do. Layer after layer, a layer of waterproofer. And then tile is also waterproof and grout and all that. And I tell this to like my tile guy.
Oh my God.
And he literally laughs and goes, you realize I could run a bulldozer through your house and it would get stuck at your shower. Like you'd run through your house like tissue paper, and by the time you got to that pan, it would be stuck. That waterproofer is like a bomb proof. I was like, well, I don't want to leak.
And has it?
No.
See?
It's like brand new.
See?
It doesn't leak. Yeah.
See?
I mean, it might leak in 10 years, but I won't be here. Yeah.
That's a problem for later.
Yeah. That's a problem for later. All right.
Yeah. So bathroom would be something else. Yeah. And then I know I've talked to you about this before, but would love to extend out the, my screened-in porch some too. Just, I mean, I already have the bones there, but it would just be framing it and sticking screen on there and
right,
making like a door.
Because you have like screened-in porch, and then there's deck, and you just add more screen to the deck. Yeah.
Correct.
That'd be pretty. That's relatively easy
Super
comparatively to building like it from scratch. But
yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
It is, but besides that, I mean, I'd love a pool, but that's not going to happen. Jeez.
Wouldn't we all?
Perfect
for this weather.
But, I know it's sitting here 19 degrees
a pool
outside.
Or a brick of ice. Yeah. Making a lot of drinks, I guess, chipping it off.
Good decisions here.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we could just end with a slight recap for anybody listening who might also be a teacher, that you looked into like 3 or 4 programs. I know we detailed the federal program, Department of Agriculture.
Correct.
Go to their website, give it a whirl. You can qualify on location and financial.
Yep.
And that's what you ended up doing. But just because I think it's cool to educate some people who might be listening, what were the other programs that you said you also looked into?
Sure. So, being in North Carolina, we do not have a teachers union here. There is no teachers union. So instead we have a lot of educators associations instead.
Okay.
So they offer all kinds of financial counseling and some grants. And again, that's thinking state. There are also federal, or not federal, I would say more national, nationally based teachers association programs that would do grants. They would help you with the what's what I'm looking for, mortgage counselor too, right? So they'd help you with the paperwork.
How would you go about finding these? Would you just like go to your boss at your school and be like, who deals with this?
No. Oh God, no. I had to do this all on my own.
No help from anyone like at your school.
No. No.
No, like counselor was like, oh yeah, call Bob in finance.
No. Oh no.
Sorry, I thought maybe there'd be somebody.
Oh no. They that is not within their purview. No, it's So this was, and I mean, you can also look at again, just kind of depends on where you're looking. If there are local incentives, right? If I'm trying to think what other programs I looked at there too. This was years ago at this point, and I'm also sitting here. I was just so excited with the USDA one that I was just like, it just blew the other ones away. And then what particular drew me to was everything else I looked at did have some kind of a down payment. Even if it was a super small down payment, the USDA was the only one I saw that was genuinely like, nope, you do not need to have any kind of a down payment for this. And I was like, really? I looked through the fine print. No down payment at all.
Wow.
I actually, when I went to go sign my mortgage papers, I actually left with a check because I brought too much money with me, like in a cashier's check.
Oh, wow. So you brought like $6,500 or whatever, and they gave you $500 back.
Yeah, they were like, here's an extra, you brought like $1,000 too much. Here you go. And I'm like, oh, that was not how I anticipated this going.
Right. You were like, I brought a spare blank check thinking I was $184 short. Yeah.
Yes, I totally did have a blank check with me just in case I had to do
Smart
something.
Person. You never know. Yeah. That's good. Okay, so that USDA.
I just research, ask people too. I mean, networking. And I say that as someone who is truly introverted and does not network well, but
it's been a very common theme on this show, networking. I mean, when I've had people, in my trade talk about their life and experiences, they're like, well, if I didn't go there and meet this guy, I never would have met this guy. And it's a huge, it never stops being something you need to work on.
Exactly. And the lady who sold me the house too, again, had, been in education for decades at that point. She was is a dear family friend. I'll say like in the past, and she is a dear family friend. And she just was excited to help me out at that point in my life too. Like I was kind of rebuilding myself. And she threw me a lifeline that just has absolutely changed my life for the better. So you just never know who is out there, and it's just like, the time has come for them to make their own moves, and you just happen to be the right person, and you just never know. So got to ask, I guess.
Yeah. On that super uplifting, heartfelt note, I think we'll call it right there.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it. We can do it again either right before, during, or after one of your renovations.
Happy
It'd be great to detail that on an episode.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again. I really appreciate it. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.